Hi guys, and happy Halloween from Korak and me. So, yes, the reason I have my hat on is because of the boxer dog wearing boxer gloves, because today's story is going to be about Korak and how we come to end up getting him and basically his story. I have some new subscribers that don't know much. Oh my goodness, here he goes. That don't know about him, excuse me, his age and how he got to his name and all that stuff. So I thought today would be a perfect time. Well, tonight. So, where do I even start? Many years ago, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, I adopted a Lassapoo puppy, or he wasn't a puppy, he was 4. I called him a puppy, but he was a Lassapoo, and his name was Bear, and oh my goodness, he was just so much fun. Like, he was a lot of fun. And at the time, I lived in an apartment by myself, and I was on the ground floor, so he would sit at the balcony window and just have so much fun. So then, when I met Bill, Bear just took to him right away. So I thought that was cool. And then when I would come to visit, Bill was still living with his grandma and looking after her. And she loved Bear so much. She would sneak him toast and he would sleep with her, and she'd get up to go to the bathroom in the night. And it's funny because I'd be sleeping on the couch. I'd hear her get up to go to the bathroom, and then when she went back to bed, she'd giggle and she'd say, "Now you get over and let me in." So Bear would sleep with her, and it was just so nice, and he was such a good boy. So then I ended up moving to the house, and at one point we had, I don't know, something wrong with water. I'm terrible at remembering things. I block so much out too, but I remember there was an issue with water, and they had dug a big hole in the front yard, and our yard was fenced in the front and the back. And we were sitting outside talking to a friend, and a dog went by, and Bear hated dogs. Like, he would lose his marbles. He would just go right loopy. He hated them so much. So anyway, a dog walked by, but Bear was inside of the fence, so we didn't think anything of it. Excuse me. So he ran along the fence and then turned to come the other way, but was still watching the dog, even though he was headed this way and the dog was that way. So if you know what I mean. So he was running away, but watching the dog. So anyway, didn't he fall in the hole? And he got out right away, but I was devastated. Oh my God, I was freaking out. I thought that was the end of my dog. Whatever. So anyway, the company ended up putting us in a hotel for the night because there was no water and what have you. So here we are. We go to a hotel here in town, the only one. And we end up staying there for the night, and we ended up bathing the dog there. Like, it was something. But he always, like, there was always stories with Bear. He was a fun dog, but he didn't like other dogs at all. So anyway, he started getting sick. And I can't remember. We took him to the vet, and then they sent him home and said, well, you know, he is getting older. He was 4 when I got him. And when he was 16, one day I said to Bill, we need to take him to the vet. He is throwing up quite a bit, and he was falling over. So we took him to the vet, and he never came home. He was 16, which is a wonderful long life for a Lassapoo, but it wasn't a wonderful long life for my heart. It was terrible. It was so bad that the vet even came out to the car. Like, I sat in the grieving room for quite a while, and then I went to the car, and the vet came out because I was such a mess. So anyway, because I had Bear when it was just me and Bear, and he was just, anyway, it was horrible. So I said, that's it. No more dogs. I can't do this anymore. I just can't put myself through this. So Bill said, okay, whatever you decide, I'm behind it 100%, and that's what we'll do. And I said, okay. Well, at the time, he was working midnights, and he would go to work, and I'd be crying. He'd come home, I'd be crying. He'd go to sleep. He'd wake up, I'd be crying. So all I did for, I'd say 3.5 weeks probably, was drink coffee and cry. I couldn't eat. This fatty couldn't eat. Like, what the heck? But yeah, I would just drink coffee and cry. And finally, he sat me down and he said, Sandy, I can't see you doing this. I cannot see you in this much pain. I think you should look for another dog. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. No. No, there was my life, and there's no way I'm doing it. Well, this went on probably another week, and he said, hey, he goes, the Humane Society has a Facebook page. He goes, why don't you look at that and then click onto it? And I was like, okay, I will. So there was this dog, this boxer, this beautiful, beautiful boxer. And I thought, oh my goodness, isn't he cute? But he was very, you could tell he was like, he was very, very thin. I'm just going to pause you just for a second so that I can piece this together, because if not, it's going to be too long and it won't accept it. So just 1 second and I'll bring you right back. So yeah, so I see the picture of this boxer and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what a beautiful dog. But I have always had small dogs like Yorkshire Terriers, my Lhasa Poo. I had a Malipoo, which is Maltese and Poodle. So I've never had a big dog. But I thought he was so handsome. And I thought, well, we'll go see him. I'm not really interested, but we'll go see him. So we go, and they walk us through the kennel. Excuse me. And there's this boy. He's just all excited to see whoever's coming. Well, the lady said to us, she said, we're going to put you guys out in the run and then we'll bring him out and he can't get out and that'll be wonderful. So we were like, okay. And at the time I was just starting to get really bad, being shaky and not very stable. So here I am in this dog run. They open the door and out barreling comes this dog, this boxer. And I thought, oh, my nerves. And he's running all over and peas flying everywhere. And I'm like, oh, my nerves. And then he's going to this gate. Now I know why he was going to the gate, but at the time I thought it was because he didn't like this other dog. No, he was going to the gate because there was a ball on the other side. And that's what he wanted. But anyway, so as soon as he came barreling out, he almost knocked me over and I thought, oh, my nerves. So I grabbed onto the fence. He did this big circle, walked right in front of Bill, basically ignored him, walked over to me, put his paws up on the fence that I was holding onto and went like this and leaned against me. So Bill said he knew right then that this was going to be our dog. I wasn't so sure. I just thought, oh yeah, he's a nice dog. I'll like him. I'm not going to love him, but I'll like him. So we spent some more time with him outside and he was just so comical. He would jump at us and he was just as silly as could be. And within like 5 minutes, I was like, I really like this dog. So anyway, she said, are you interested? And I said, very much so. She said, okay, come in and fill out the paperwork. So I said, okay. So as we were going through the door, another lady came out that worked there with another couple, a young couple. And I was like, oh my God. And they weren't taking the boxer back in. So I'm like, oh, they're here to look at the dog. So I said to the lady that took us out, I said, are they here to look at the dog? And she's like, yes. And I said, oh. I said, well, you know, I said, I'm bigger than her. I said, I can take her out. So anyway, She laughed, and we went to the front and we filled out the papers. There was a lot of questions, which I thought was wonderful. So this was on a Friday. So, was it on a Friday? I think so. Anyway, so we went home. She said they'd be in touch, and I thought, okay. So we waited all day Saturday. We tried to keep busy. We didn't get the phone call. I was crying. I'm like, yes, I'm telling you, I cry over everything. So anyway, I was crying. I was heartbroken because here it was. I was liking this big dog, and I thought, well, that's okay. God knows I'm not going to love him, so that's why God doesn't want to give him to us. So I waited. And then by Saturday night, I'm like, okay, well, that's it. And I'm not looking at any other pictures. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just not, because I got all snippy or whatever. But to me, that was my way of coping. I was like, rather than be sad, I was just like, okay, fine. I just won't look at any other dogs, and that's it. Well, then Sunday, the phone rings. And it's the Humane Society. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm holding my breath. And I'm thinking Bill should answer the phone. And then I was like, no, give me the phone. I got to answer it. So I said hello, and the lady said hi. She said, is it Sandy? And I said, yes. And she said, well, we just want you to know. And the boxer's name was Jack. She goes, we just want you to know that we have selected you to be Jack's parents. Well, I swear my heart just burst right out of my shirt. I was just, oh my goodness. Well, I was just so excited. I said, okay, great, we'll be right there. And she laughed, and she goes, no, she said, we don't open till 2, but if you want to be here for 2, that's fine. And I was like, oh. She said, did you want to come earlier? I go, yep. She goes, if you want, she goes, you can come right now. Because it was about a 45-minute drive. So she's like, if you want, you can leave right now. I'm like, okay. So we get all excited. Just a sec, I got to stop it again so that it won't, I got to stop it. I'll be right back. So yeah, we're all excited. We're on our way. We get to go pick up the dog. And I'm like, oh my God, Bill, we don't have a leash. We don't have a collar. We don't have anything. So he's like, just calm down, Sandy. The dog's going to be there. Just calm down. We'll stop at the pet store and we'll get what we need. So I was like, okay. So we go and get Jack. And oh my God. He was so much energy and so fun. And we had the van at the time, and we slid the door open, and he just hopped right in the van just like nothing. Sat in the back seat exactly like he does now. Sits just like a pupil. And it was just so cool. So we came home along the St. Clair River, which is always my favorite way. I think I've showed you guys that many times. And we stopped at a park to let him out, and you could see his little ribs and his knuckles. I don't know what you would call them on a dog. For people, if this was our paw, it would be his knuckles. Had wore raw from trying to get out of being locked up. Excuse me. And he has a scar. He has a scar, which I think is a cigarette burn. But anyway. So here's this friendly dog at the park, and this man comes over, and he's like, oh, what a gorgeous dog. And he's asking all kinds of questions. And he said he's very thin. And I said, yes, he is. We just rescued, he's a rescue dog, and we're his new parents. So he thought that was really cool. So anyway, what did we do? Oh, Bill always said, this is where the name comes in. Bill used to read comics when he was younger, and his favorite comic book was Tarzan. And Tarzan's son was named Jack, but they changed it to Korak. Now, I don't know if they changed it from Korak to Jack or Jack to Korak. I believe it was Jack to Korak. And Bill always said that if he ever had kids, he would name a son Korak. Well, his name was Jack, and Jack and Korak sounds really, really close. So we just started calling him Korak, and right away he's like, oh, okay, well, that's my name. And when we picked him up, they said, now we don't know, there's probably going to be accidents. We don't know what he was like, other than he was locked up all the time, and so was another boxer with him. a white boxer. First they said it was his sister, and then they said no, it was like his girlfriend or whatever. But how they ended up being at the Humane Society in the first place is actually close to where we live. So I'll tell you about that part in a minute. But close to where we live, this neighbor seen Jack at the time, and this white dog being locked up all the time and, you know, never taken care of. They were always hungry, they were always thirsty, whatever. So he said he couldn't take it anymore, so he went and took the dogs. Well, he said 2 of them was just too much for him with the work that he did, and he didn't really want dogs, but he didn't want them to be with these abusers either. So he took them to the Humane Society. The Humane Society had him checked over by the vet and everything. And they had him 3 weeks before they even posted anything about him. It took 3 weeks to get him healthy enough to, you know, be even looked at for adoption. So when we got him, he was only 43 pounds, and you could see his ribs, and oh my goodness. So anyway, we brought him home. We bought this fancy dog dish for him. We put food down, and here we go again with Sandy crying. But even now, I just think about it. The first time I seen him eat, I cried. It was the saddest thing ever. He ate that food like he thought he was never going to get fed again. I just don't know how people can abuse animals. I just don't. But anyway, so he ate and he wanted to go out. We went out at the time we were at the house. He had the fenced yard and everything. Bill was going to work. So it must have been, yeah, we picked him up. We met him Friday, didn't get the call till Sunday, picked him up Sunday. Bill was going to work Friday for midnights. And at the time I had a recliner. Now I just put the couch or the love seat back and it reclines. But at the time I had a personal recliner that I would sleep in. And so Bill was getting ready to leave for work. I put my feet up and was laying in the recliner. And all of a sudden this 43-pound boxer just went whoomp and landed right on me. And I'm like, and okay, I'm still used to little dogs, right? So anyway, I pet him. He started to snore. And he stayed with me the whole night. And when Bill got home in the morning, he was still laying across me. And Bill said it was the best sight that he had ever seen. So anyway, he is just, I can't thank the lady enough that approved us to be his parents. When we did go pick him up, one sec. When we did go pick him up, I said to her, I'm so thankful that you picked us. And she said, you know, it was a really close decision. She goes, because they're a young couple too without children. And she said, but what really did it is that you don't work. So you would be with the dog all the time. And I was like, oh, thank God. So, and he has just been such a joy to both of us. Like every day he brings us joy. He makes me laugh every day. And it's funny, all these little dogs that I had were all non-shedding dogs because I was allergic to dogs. So they were all non-shedding. So, of course, his fur is really, really short. And we thought, oh, well, that's good. Because we used to have to get the dog, I'd have to get Bear groomed quite a bit. It was like $40, I think, to groom him. So I was thinking, oh, this would be nice. You know, the boxer's got short hair. He won't need groomed. We can bath him ourselves and what have you. Well, the hair. Oh, my nerves. The first, I wouldn't say quite a week. Well, maybe a week. We'll say a week just for fun. The first week, we complained about that hair so much. It wasn't even funny. And the drool. Oh, my goodness. We complained about the drool for a whole week. Now, we don't, that's fine. He can drool all he wants. He can lose hair all he wants. In fact, we have this thing, if a friend comes over for a visit, we buy those lint roller things, the sticky stuff, just from the dollar store. And when they leave, we give them one. Like, here, take this with you because you're going to be covered in dog hair. But anyway, And the drooling now, it's like, I want to get 2 t-shirts. One, I want to say, embrace the drool. Um, and the other one, I want, I'm my boxer's napkin. So yeah, even the drool brings us joy now. Like, it's so funny. Like, before it was all gross and everything, but he's just such a wonder. Like, look at him right now, even. I can't tell if you can see him. He's just always, always with me. And he's such a joy. Like, he's just so funny. And right from that first night, he just knew that he was going to be loved. And it took him, the feeding thing took probably, I would say, a couple of weeks maybe, for him to know that he was going to get fed twice a day. Like, we give him 2 cups in the morning and 2 cups at supper time. And he knows that now. And he just eats his food normal. He doesn't like wolf it down, or he knows he's going to get fed again, and that there's going to be, that there's going to be treats and all that stuff. But anyway, he's just such a joy. And I'm so glad that Bill got to name him Korak, because that's really cool. So of course, when Bill takes him out, Bill's just as proud as punch. Unfortunately, I can't walk him because he's too much for me, which is kind of a problem. But I'm hoping once my weight starts coming off that I'll get stronger, and not be so shaky. Now, might as well talk about fasting, being I have you guys here. I tried doing the fasting again yesterday, and I don't know what happened. I haven't been feeling good. Do you ever get where you're not feeling good, but you're not feeling sick either? Like, I just haven't been feeling good. And I didn't know if I was getting a cold or what. But yesterday I tried the fasting, and I thought, okay, good. I really want to do the fasting because I do feel good with it. Well, my sugar crashed 3 times. Like, it went down to 4 something, then it went down to like 2 something. So I ended up eating, and I felt better with the insulin or whatever, but I really don't want to take the insulin. I just don't. So I need to get this weight off. But anyway, so that's where I've been with the fasting part. Oh, he's just such a sigh. So yeah, that's it. Saturday, I'm excited. I hope I continue to feel better, because Saturday we're crossing the border. We're just going to go on the ferry. I just want to go to Kroger. I want to get my coffee creamers for over the holidays, because the coffee creamer, you check the date on them and they'll be like January, February. The dates are always really good. So I figure I'd pick up that stuff now, because the closer to the holidays, you know, people like the fancy creams. So I'm going to check to see if they have that. And I might hit up a Dollar General. I've never been in one, and there's one right across the border. So, and Korak won't be able to come with us for that. He'll have to stay home, so we won't be very long, because I really hate leaving him. In fact, speaking of that too, we found a place near here. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about, I'll backtrack for a minute. I was going to tell you about the Korak being from this area. Just a sec. So yeah, it turns out Korak was rescued from this area. So I was paranoid for, oh man, months, like 6-7 months. I was so afraid that the people that had him were going to see us somewhere and try and steal the dog back. And it was a problem. Like, my anxiety from that was just horrific. And when we'd go to Walmart, I'd stay in the car with them. Even now, I'm leery. If someone looks at him a certain way, I'm like, you just stay away. He's got a chip and he's registered and everything, you know, is for us. But still, that was a fear I had. So anyway, the other thing I was going to say, that near us, there is boxer breeders. Boxer breeder? Yeah, a boxer breeder and kennel. And it's just like 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. So I got Bill to call to see. I don't think I could leave him overnight somewhere. I'm not at that point yet. Meanwhile, we've had him. We got him. He was 4, they think, and we've had him for 2 years. So he's 6 now, which also scares the bejesus out of me, because I was just watching a thing yesterday on YouTube about boxers, and it said that they live till like they're 10. Anyway. So I got Bill to call the place to see if they had like a daycare type thing for him, and we can take him there for $20. So I want to take him and let him play and play with other boxers. I think he needs that. I don't know if I'm being weird or what, but I think it would be really good for him to play with. He loves dogs so much. There's so many dogs in this building, and he gets on the elevators with them, and like, he likes dog. There's one dog in the building that they don't like each other, but it's more that dog not liking Korak than Korak not liking him. But they kind of just look at each other, and so Bill goes a separate way, and so does the other walker. They just go. But other dogs, they're like nose to nose. So I think it'd be really, really good for him. And I could leave him long enough to play and have fun with another dog. But as far as overnight, nope. In fact, I'm kind of scared about how much this sounds silly, but I'm scared about how much I love this dog, because Bear was my life. In fact, I even have a tattoo on my foot that says Bear, and it's got a heart shaped and a paw print. And I never, like, even when I got Korak, I said, I'll like him, but I'm not going to love him, but I'll like him. Well, we weren't even home after picking him up, and I was right in love with him. And like every day, as I say, he just brings me so much joy. So anyway, I've rambled so long all about the life of Korak, but that's how he got his name. We rescued him when he was 4. We've had him 2 years, and we love him to pieces. He's my world. I just love him so much. Let's see what he's doing now. I think he's just, I don't know if you can see. Not very good at camera thing, am I? Anyway, he's laying down on the couch. So anyway, and again, our new boxer hats with the boxer dog and boxer gloves. I just think they're so cute, so I had to show you. Okay, guys, I love you, and we'll talk to you soon, and I hope you enjoyed the story of Korak. Okay, bye for now.